Oh, I can open up the chat here and move it off to another screen. There we go. I've got so many screens and different things. So thanks, folks. And I really appreciate the continuing education sessions that I've participated in, just watching and learning from you folks and some of our guest speakers. This is a great format for us as golf instructors to be able to build out our network and share our ideas, and it's really fun. And I hope what I've been doing, just making some videos on YouTube, some golf content. I hope that I can share with you some of what I've been doing, so you might be able to help expand your initiatives with golf, whether it be just for your students or whether you'd like to get out online and social media, maybe monetize these kind of things. But it all comes down with some of the key elements about filming, some of the considerations. And one of the real tools we'd like to explore is video editing, using software to edit the videos together, and figure out the best way to export it, post it on YouTube, social media, and those kind of things. So in this presentation, I have some general, why do we want to do this? What is content creation? These kind of things. Just the teacher in me, I guess. And then I'll slowly build up into an actual demonstration where I'll pull some clips that I've taken just on my phone, and I'll edit them and doctor them up and prepare a video, and even prepare hopefully a short video that would go on Instagram or TikTok or something like that, because it's a little bit of a different format. So yeah, I want to talk a little bit about why we want to do this, why you might consider it first, if that's okay. So yeah, these are kind of the topics we're going to cover. Who am I? Where am I coming from? And Mark, you suggested I should talk a little bit about that. I also want to talk about the rise of YouTube golf, what its its significance is today for us in the golf world. And what is content creation in general? It might be new to a lot of folks, so you might be just starting this kind of thing for the first time. So I don't want to alienate people who don't use YouTube or have never edited videos or anything. We're going to kind of cover it all. So there's going to be a lot of basics as well, because it's really where we need to start. Um, I'm going to have a little talk about why you might want to consider it, how these initiatives might benefit you, some general tips for getting started, how to film golf videos, how to use some editing software. I'm going to introduce the shot tracer technology, the software that you can use for that. How to finalize your golf video, touch it up with some color and make sure all the settings are okay to export it, uploading into YouTube, and hopefully we can even get to creating short form reels for Facebook and Instagram and those kind of things. So I hope I can get through all this. It could be really long or it could be short. You never really know. And I've been scrambling to put this together. So hopefully this works. So I'm Greg Wells. Mark mentioned I've been from Ontario. I've been in Newfoundland for about, I guess it's been about 15 years now. I enjoy it here. Our golf season is a lot shorter than the rest of Canada, I think, but it's still pretty fun. And I've only been golfing for about 16 years. There was a summer as a kid that I went out and hacked with my dad's old McGregor clubs, but I didn't really learn much from that. So golf, even though it's 16 years, it still feels relatively new. One of the things I really enjoy about getting into the instructing aspect of golf is I'm still a student of golf. I think we all are. We're always trying to improve. So that's been an interest of mine. Um, I've been doing some golf influencing, and we call influencers people who are on, Instagram or YouTube or these kind of things, since November 2022. So it's just been a little over a year since I've been doing this, and I've been a CGTF instructor since March of 2023. So I started doing golf YouTube videos before I got into golf instruction. And even though I was doing some instructional tips and things like that on YouTube, we know a lot of our learners turn to YouTube for their golf tips. And sometimes that's for the worse. Sometimes they might be learning things they shouldn't be doing rather than what they should be doing. Um, and that's why it can be a good tool for us. So I wanted to pursue this certification, not only for myself because I'm a teacher at heart. I love golf. I wanted to pursue it. I also wanted to add more credibility to the videos and my passion to make content for online viewing. So it's kind of a nice little mix, and some of us might be taking approaches where you can take your instruction and then develop it further into some media creation as well. So it doesn't matter which way you go about it. This is how I got into it. The reason I'm familiar with making videos, making interactive media, these kind of things, is I do work at the college here and I teach video game art and design. So does my wife too. She's a digital artist as well. So we are pretty familiar with using software, using media, making some things. I was making videos on YouTube for original music on an old channel. I mean, 20 years ago. So I'm capable. I teach cinematography and lots of things. I'm capable of doing cinema quality video with my editing, but we don't really want to do that for YouTube. We want to make it what the viewers expect. So that's why you won't see um, Christopher Nolan directed YouTube videos by me. um, and I created the brand called Greg's Golf Shack just to have fun, to have a name for my YouTube channel, my social media, and it's become the name of my golf instruction studio here at home as well. Um, my YouTube channel, like I said, it's still only been, a little over a year. I haven't had that big viral video to get millions of views or anything, but I've got over 1,000 subscribers, which allows me to monetize as well. I make money off ads that are shown on my videos. And this is all organically grown. I didn't reach out and ask anybody to give me 5,000 subs or anything. These are just people who've discovered my channel and joined it up. And on Instagram, I've got about 1,300 followers, TikTok, 2,000 followers. These are pretty low numbers, but I'm excited about it because I didn't reach out to YouTube and Instagram as a job or a career. I'm doing it for fun. I have a job. So this is for fun, and it's nice to see it grow. It's even nice to make a little bit of money from it. And as Mark suggested, I have a golf facility here, I guess you could say, a little short game green and an area I built in the backyard here, and a simulator set up in my garage using a SkyTrack. And that allows me to make good videos. I kind of designed it for filming in mind, and also teach out of the house. So that's who I am, where I'm coming from. There's a lot more of me, but relevant to this kind of what we're going to be doing today, I think that's kind of covers it. So talking about the rise of YouTube golf, why are we talking about this? And I've always had this feeling, at least for the past couple of years, since I've been following a lot of YouTube channels. I enjoy watching it. I enjoy a lot watching it a lot more, watching every shot of somebody's game for the course vlogs. I like watching the tips and instructional aspects as well, but it's mainly the watching people play golf, rounds of golf and competitions that I enjoy. I feel like I've kind of outgrown, or I don't have time to watch 5 or 6 hours of professionals making 5 foot putts. Um, and I think a lot of the people today, since COVID and all kinds of things, our attention span is a little shorter. We're busier people. Our attention jumps around from one thing to the next. Even golf, we're ready to move on to a new video, and we're seeing many golf content creators getting millions of views, millions of subscribers, and this is constantly growing. So even though there's this kind of competition for viewership between the PGA and Live Golf, YouTube is sneaking in there and is probably going to be pretty dominant in time, even when a lot of these pros and Live professionals as well are starting YouTube channels of their own and doing really well. So just to kind of back up that thought of why I'm interested in YouTube golf, I noticed My Golf Spy released an article last week just called The Rise of YouTube Golf. Why is on-demand golf so popular? And that's on their site. You could read that article, but I wanted to pick out a couple of notable quotes of how they kind of explain this, saying there's a whole cultural movement towards YouTube golf. And there is. I mean, this is a hashtag in the media world. Like I said, all these pros are starting their own YouTube golf channels. People are making careers out of just making golf videos. Some of them are doing it by themselves, like me, setting up a tripod and recording myself playing golf or recording myself giving some lessons and some tips. Other people's have a whole film crew out there. All they do is play golf, and someone else is filming them and editing the videos and everything, which must be nice. Um, another quote here: there's considerably more time spent consuming on-demand golf than any other form of passive golf course entertainment, including tuning into the professional game on TV. So they're just noting how many millions and millions and millions of views are occurring uh, on YouTube for golf in kind of competition with the hundreds of thousands of views that are going on during a professional tournament in PGA or Live. Uh, Another one, the data says golf's younger crowd in the 18 to 32 age category is flocking to the YouTube version of golf, in contrast to the PGA Tour viewer, which is north of 60. At least that's what they said. I don't know what kind of testing they've been doing. I think when I look at my analytics in YouTube, I've got quite the span of age groups, from kids all the way up to over 60. So the gamut of demographics watching YouTube videos is wide. And they also say a personal creator viewer relationship is being fostered, relatability that fans of all ages are connecting with on a deep level. And I think this is where a real popular element of YouTube golf is happening, is it's relatable to us. A lot of the people that are making these videos are average golfers. Even, yeah, some pros are doing it as well, but it's relatable to the point where you can leave them comments and they might respond to you, and it's building a big community of not only golfers but also people who are enjoying golf entertainment. So that's an interesting article anyway, if you look it up on My Golf Spy, that kind of explains why. And this is one of the reasons why. Here are some creators. We have Rick Shields, who's been on YouTube for over 10 years doing fun golf vlogs, recording himself playing, and lots of tips. I mean, you've probably heard Rick Shields' name before if you haven't watched a lot of his videos on your own. We have Good Golf there. Bob Does Sports. They do some raunchy golf videos. You have Paige Sporanic, who is really famous on Instagram, with over 3 million followers, and she's got somewhere around 500,000 subscribers on YouTube as well. Um, Rick Shields, for example, has almost 3 million subscribers on YouTube. Good Golf is the big one that's been really doing well over the past year or two. It's kind of one of the groups that got me into it, and they've got almost 1.5 million subscribers on their YouTube. So when they have all these subscribers, they're getting millions and millions of views as well. And all these channels are just some examples of some of the channels that are leading this charge of YouTube golf. I'm not at 1 million views yet, not even close. That'd be nice. Um, so what are we talking about when we're talking about content creation? And I like to say content creation is the development of media to share with an online audience. Certainly, there's all kinds of content we can make that isn't media, but we're talking about making videos, making posts, things like that online. So typically, this will include, long videos. They might be 4 or 5 minute tips and lessons that you're giving. They might be an hour-long golf round that is being edited together in a competition that is fun to watch. Short form videos are very popular as well. You can get to it pretty quick. These are usually 60 to 90 second videos, and that's the standard sort of real size on a lot of social media, such as Instagram and even YouTube Shorts. And people are using just images and stories and things as well on their social media channels. And some of the popular platforms would be YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, TikTok, X, or otherwise known as Twitter. These are the ones I generally use. I don't spread myself too thin, but there's all kinds that are continuing to grow out there. And there's so many different genres and channels for viewers out there. There is golf comedy. There is just golf instruction. There's just people showing how badly they play. There's people showing themselves playing some rounds. So it's it's a great platform for anything golf. And we have to have that acknowledge that sometimes it's not the best thing. A lot of the advice that might not be the voice of expertise, we would say. So we have to take some of it with a grain of salt, but it's entertaining and a fun platform to watch. Um, so part of this process of content creation is filming and photography. This includes, staging the scene, creating an environment for filming to take place, capturing the content on film, even the acting and narration that we might be doing as well. It's more than just pointing a camera. Very often we're in front of it, so we need to be prepared with it. We're actors. Where are we in the scene? We have to plan all these kind of things. It also includes editing and enhancement. So once we have all that film, it's not just ready to show everybody. There's a lot of stuff we want to cut out and put together a little bit better. So we edit it all together in some software to refine it. We can add images over top of it, different layers. We can add effects and different things, filters and stuff. Some of these can be done in your editing software. Some of these can be done right on the social media platforms themselves. And it gives us an opportunity to add sound effects or music or voiceover commentary, these kind of things. So we're really creating movies and all the elements that go into that process. Um, but also, content creation is about the online communities themselves, engaging with the online communities. So, this means you're joining social media platforms. You're ready to share this content once you make it publicly. Um, you're following other channels of interest, so you're searching for other golf videos, other people like you, or things that you're interested in, and expanding your network. You like content from other people's, leave them a comment and reply, start the conversation going. This will help grow that network of followers that you might have. There's opportunities to monetize and create business opportunities such as partnerships and sponsors and just advertising your own golf teaching business. Also, some people can build a whole influencer career. A lot of even our college is looking into this. Other colleges and universities are having programs about social media creation. A lot of kids today in high school are saying this is what they want to do for a career. They want to be content creators, YouTubers, this kind of thing. So it's a serious kind of thing we're going to have to get used to if people are going to be considering careers in this. It's nice for us to get practice up and be able to do it and add it to our business initiatives. So why should you consider this? Why might you want to do this? Um, as we saw in that My Golf Spy, the quotes that came out of that, this is popular and thriving. There's a huge audience out there, not only a huge audience for golf content on social media, but there's a huge creator base. There are millions of people doing this, and it's just exploding. Um, as golf teachers and us who have a business, we're trying to promote our golf, these kind of things. It gives us the opportunity to broaden our business and expand our audience with the exposure of our videos. It helps a lot of people who might be looking at coming for some lessons, get to know you a little bit if you have some stuff out there. In fact, my clients so far, besides any clients I got from teaching clinics have come to me through my videos and reached out and said, I watch your videos. I feel like we would connect. I'd like to learn from you. And these are end up being repeat clients that come back several times. So the videos themselves, without even actively advertising my business, have brought business in. So you can enhance your marketing and advertising initiatives doing this. You can create commercials for your business. And you can even earn some extra income through monetization. So once you have over 1,000 subscribers and I think it's 4,000 watch hours, you get involved in their partnership program where if you don't have YouTube Premium and you're watching it and ads pop up every odd time, it means you're getting paid every time an ad is shown on your video, or anytime someone who has a YouTube Premium account watches your video as well, you get paid some money as well. So it's nice to make a passive income with this as well. Um, we can use media to expand and enhance our teaching and learning experiences. So we can take this idea of being able to create video, and besides YouTube and besides, building an online community, we can use it for our personal clients that we have. So it gives us another way to help convey our ideas to them, to show them, using video more to just convey our lessons, whether it's a video of them or a video that you made. It's just backs up what you might be saying. I like using it as homework and a follow-up to support our clients. So when I have a client and I'm working with them, we're working on certain parts of their golf swing and we wrap it up. After they go home, I will send them a follow-up email to remind them what we worked on and what we talked about. And then if I have videos that I've made that are relevant to the kinds of things that can remind them of what to work on and what we talked about, I'll include links to those videos. So, and they love it. They say, oh, I watched all those videos, and they come back for more. I would think if I give them all these links there, why would they come back? But they watch them, and I feel like I've already got the videos out there. If it's going to support their learning and their practice, if they can be on the driving range and be like, oh, what was that turn? What was that thing? They can look at that email, look up that video that I gave them. Aha, that's the drill that he was showing me. So it's a great way to follow up your lessons, to share that with them. And you can also use it to provide private feedback to your students, whether it's a swing analysis or something like that. Doesn't have to be shared publicly at all. You could put it in your Google Drive and give it to them, and there you go.
Wow.
So it's nice. I find if I want to give a student private feedback, like a swing analysis or something like that, I still like to make it good quality. I don't want to make it too rough just on my phone and messy. So having some video editing practice helps to give them something that is professional and reflects our business as well. Okay. Why do we want to do it? Because it's fun. It is fun to do this. If we love golf, we're golf nuts. I mean, this is just another thing to do. I'm doing some crazy stuff by green screening myself into simulated courses now and everything. It's just a riot to do that kind of stuff. But it's cool when it comes to golf and our business to learn something new. We can explore and experiment with different themes and different processes of our golf initiatives. Being able to make video and develop some content might give us new ideas of how we can teach and how we can expand our business. And we can join the growing community of golf content creators. So it's just nice to let this grow, let our vision evolve and grow. When we see what we can do, we learn what more is possible. So it's fun to know these things. Okay. So just some general tips for getting started before we actually get into some media editing and that kind of stuff. Um, when it comes to YouTube, I didn't want to get into how do you make a YouTube account and some of those basics. There's lots of resources. You can go on YouTube and look up how to make a YouTube. It's pretty easy. So I didn't want to take your time going through all those different processes. But basically, if you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube account. When you sign up for Google, you get a YouTube account, you have Google Drive, you have Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Forms, you have all these different resources for free. So a lot of us have different email accounts with different providers and everything, but it is really worth it to have a Gmail account just for your YouTube channel alone. And if you have a Gmail account that's personal and you want one for your business, you could just make a new one for your business. I actually have several accounts. One that is just Greg's Golf Shack that I use for making videos and everything. And I made a little subsidiary kind of Gmail account called GGS Lessons. And that's just where I store any client videos and Google Forms I have if someone's going to come over, sign up for a lesson. It's not really like a disclosure form or anything like that. It's just to get information before they come. So ask them what would you like to work on? What's your general shot shape? These kind of things. Do you have any injuries that I should be aware of? Or are you not comfortable sharing it? These are things that I have in my form before they come. So I'm not spending half of that first lesson asking all those things. So it's a nice way to also build out a client list in an Excel sheet or a Google sheet, I guess you could say. So I've got all my business laid out there in Google as well. Um, you want to pick a profile picture that represents you and your business, of course. I just have one of my golf swing with some effects on it. Um, but another thing you can do to get started is just start watching other people's channels and start following them, start building that community, learning from some of these channels. Go on, look up YouTube Golf. Good is a great channel to watch. Start watching Rick Shields. These will give you good ideas of not only what people are finding interesting and what keeps them watching, but it can just give you ideas on topics. I think when we're creating things, we don't want to be too absolute because there's always going to be a video out there that's going to say the opposite. I've even seen the same content creator have videos that contrast each other. One will say, don't swing with your arm, swing with your body. And like 1 year later, it's like, stop swinging with your body, swing with your arms. There's just all kinds of different perspectives out there. And I think that's okay because our learners respond to different ideas and different thoughts and different feelings. So you might even make videos that kind of contradict other videos that you made, but it depends on the learner and who's watching it, if it's relevant or not. So I suggest you sign up for YouTube if you haven't already. Make an account and start following channels and build that network. And the same with Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, TikTok. Some people are concerned about TikTok. I appreciate that. I just put it on my phone and started uploading videos and had fun. And it's the community that has grown the biggest for me, actually. And a lot of people locally have recognized me more from like Instagram and TikTok than they have the YouTube videos. I'll go to a course across the island and someone will come up to me in the restaurant and be like, "Are you Greg's Golf Shack?" And that is a great feeling. That is so nice. In fact, we were in a meeting one time, Mark, and you were asking what were your highlights? What are your highlights? And I said, oh, getting a SkyTrack was a cool thing to get. But actually, the greatest highlight I had of 2023 was after I played in a junior scramble with a young guy. I was walking back into the clubhouse and I heard this lady calling to me. It's just Greg. She's behind a bush, and I come out. I'm like, hello. She goes, she comes up to me and just says, my son watches all your videos and he was too shy to come up and say hello. I was wondering if you'd come over and meet him. And, I came over and he was this cool little guy. His name was Cruz and he was about to go golfing. We gave each other five. And I wish I had some swag to hand him at that point or something, but I didn't. But it was just so cool to get that feeling that somebody's watching me and it's meaningful to this young person. I'm reaching them. It was actually that moment that inspired me to want to pursue more junior golf this year if I can get involved in it. So you never know who's going to be watching and what it'll mean to you when you hear that they're watching and that they like your videos. It's nice to know that you've reached someone. Other tips for just getting started, this is kind of like before you're filming and that kind of stuff, is to consider your niche. It doesn't mean you can't do more than one thing. My channel's I do so many different things and I create a bunch of different playlists for the type of videos I make. But choose genres and themes you'd like to pursue. Do you want to do funny golf videos? Do you want to do just instruction? Do you want to do just course vlogs? Go out there and record yourself playing. You can do, more than one, but you want to kind of have that plan so you're not too far out there. You don't want to have a golf video and then something about gardening and then something about fixing your car. It should really be all golf if that's the channel that you're going to make. I wouldn't recommend, if you're getting started out, making a YouTube golf channel for instruction and then making another whole account for golf vlogs, is what they call it. The reason is, when you're getting started, you want to build that subscriber base. So if you're spreading it too thin, you're going to be trying to get people on one or the other. It just becomes a lot to manage. So in the beginning, if you have different approaches you'd like to take, I do suggest doing that on one channel to build your community. But consistency is important. So who's in the video, and just if you're always in it, if you're always the host of it, this is the kind of consistency that viewers will get used to and want to see. And don't be afraid to bring some character and personality to it. There's a lot of funny people, a lot of funny channels. There's one golf channel on TikTok and Instagram that's this angry Scottish guy with long hair, and he's out there on the edge of a hill with long grass and wind blowing and sometimes raining, and he's yelling golf tips at the camera, and it's hilarious, and the tips are good. So it's just a really popular channel. He's got millions of viewers. It's just kind of funny. Now, I'm not going to start doing that. I think it's good to be authentic. We can be ourselves, but we can also be charismatic. And I think that's important. I mean, sometimes I'm goofy on my channel, but hey, I'm goofy every day. So who you see in the video is pretty much who I am. I mean, I don't know if Paul Kelly's with us here tonight or not. I can't really see the whole list, but he can tell you I'm the same guy when we play golf out on the course as I am in the videos. It's just, I think that's a good way to go about it. People will know if you're acting. So authenticity is good, but don't be afraid to be a little bit funny and pump things up a little bit sometimes. It keeps it interesting, keeps people watching. Was that? Oh, also consider your audience. Sorry, I skipped ahead there. We want to figure out, who is this for? What are they going to be interested in? There's a nice balance between, we want to create golf content that we want to make, that we like, but we also would like other people to enjoy it. This is what I tell my students when they're making games in video game design. They have this great idea for a game that they want to make. But if they want to make a career out of it, they have to make sure other people are going to enjoy those ideas as well. So you want to consider if you have a specific demographic in mind, and kind of watch some videos and get some ideas about what kind of videos they're watching. What are they interested in? If you want to focus on junior golfers, there's a lot of fun videos you can get inspired by how to relate to kids a little bit better. Or if you want a channel that's going to appeal to senior golfers, then you might have a different approach. So consider your audience and how the best ways to communicate to them. Don't be afraid to ask people to follow you as well when you start making your channels. Ask them to follow you if they're interested in. That's a way to get people in. You're just trying to divert people to the cool things that you're doing. And another thing you can do once you do get started and you have a YouTube channel is have a look at your analytics, the data, to see where people are interested in, what they're watching, and what they're enjoying on your channel. That will help you develop yourself and the content that you create. So just an example here. It looks like data and everything, but this is just from my YouTube analytics page. This is just a snapshot that I took the other day. And it just shows me how many returning viewers I have, how many unique viewers, how many subscribers I had that month. It can give you a breakdown of all your audience, by gender, by age. I actually cut this off early, but you can see I'm getting 13 to 17-year-olds, 18 to 24, 25 to 34 is the highest. I'm not getting a lot of lady viewers. I've got to get my wife on my channel and start teaching her some stuff. That was always a plan. I think that's kind of common on YouTube, actually, for YouTube golf videos. But this goes even up to senior ages where that are watching the video. So it's nice to see who's watching your video. When are they watching your videos? You can see when your viewers are on YouTube. So these are people that regularly follow me, and it's showing dark spots. For me, Monday at around 6 p.m. and Saturday around noon are popular spots. Now that's kind of new to me. I just sort of discovered that. So I'm probably going to be making that when I post videos for now on, so I can try and reach them as best as possible. And they give you things as well as what other channels are your viewers following? What other videos are they watching? And that's something just to keep in mind to say, if you're thinking, I was going to do a video about the grip, all the three different grips. Are people going to enjoy that? Well, if you see that, hey, they're looking up videos about a golf grip, that can help solidify that idea for you. Or you can see what they're looking at, and you might have another perspective on things that they're interested in, and that can inspire you to make another video. So this is a lot of detail and data. I'm not going to break it all down, but this is all information when you start making videos and posting them on YouTube, or even Instagram and TikTok and things. They give you your insights or your analytics so you can examine what people enjoy about your channel. And of course, we want to set reasonable expectations when we start doing this. The online community can be a fun place, but it also can be a little bit negative at times as well. So even though we can find some vitriol out there, I haven't really found any on my channel. There's the odd person, like on a video that this does really well and gets 12,000 views or something. You get the odd person who makes a rude comment or something. And my advice is, don't engage them in a way to argue them. Don't get offended. It's not worth having a public argument on your channel, because that can, I don't think there's any need to defend ourselves from ignorance. I actually take the strategy of trying to win them over. I'll leave them a comment laughing at what they said. Someone said a comment once that said, how to turn a 30-second tip into 10 minutes. And I laughed. I responded saying, LOL, that's true, but I guess it's the teacher in me. And I think some folks like to see the details or something, but it was kind of a funny comment. So I would rather win them over than start any kind of argument. You're always going to have some hotheads out there, and you can always ignore them. So you want to be patient with your audience. It can take time to build that audience, but you also want to be patient with the growth of your channel. If you caught a hole in one on camera on one of your rounds or something, that might be great. You might get lots of viewers at one time, just volumes and volumes of people subscribing and commenting and liking, and that would be great. That's what we're all hoping for, is that viral moment to grow our channel. But it can take time to organically grow it. So be patient. I mean, I remember after 2 months, I was happy when I hit 30 subscribers. And then I was extremely happy when I hit 100 subscribers, and it just kept going on and on. Now I want 10,000. You can get greedy with it, but it's nice to watch it grow. You can't force it. It'll happen when it happens. And you can't really get hung up if a video's not popular, people aren't watching. Sometimes that can just be in the algorithms of YouTube. People aren't being exposed to it. Might be something people aren't necessarily interested in at that time. And you never know when people are going to start watching that video. I'll watch a video, sometimes I'll put one up, and within 2 days it has 3,000 views. I could put up another video, and after a week it only has 20. And I can't figure it out. I don't know what they want to watch. But then sometimes I'll see a big boost in my views, and it's a video I made 9 months ago. So you never really know. this we're not necessarily trying to sell the idea immediately and shrug it off. It's there over time, and we post them on video or on YouTube, so we have a library of content that people can always fall back on. And when that video gets a little bit old, or you think people aren't watching it anymore because it's 2 years old or something, well, you make a new one, because how much can we talk about golf? You want to remake them sometimes and add some new perspective to it. So it can be tough to know what kind of content folks will enjoy the most at that time. The videos I'm excited about the most sometimes in posts, sometimes they're the ones that get the least views. And then something I just hacked together quick in the garage because I was working on my golf game and got an idea will skyrocket. I have no idea. You never really know. And that's just how it works. So one of the ideas is to just keep active, keep posting, keep it going, don't get discouraged, and spend time engaging with other people and other channels. And that will eventually bring them back to you. And I don't know why I chose that little temper tantrum kid there, but it's kind of funny. So yeah, try not to get baited into any arguments. Win over your critics. It can be hard. Sometimes we'll want to justify, especially if there's a learning moment, if we can do it in a respectful way. I think that says how we respond to comments and rude interactivity says more about us and our channel than that anonymous viewer. So we want to be careful with that kind of stuff. And the other little tip before kind of getting into the deep is be aware of copyrights. This is something people don't consider enough, and they think if it's on the internet, they could just put it in their video. And that's not really the case. Just because it's online doesn't mean it's free to use. So you want to research the resources you use. I usually almost like 95% of the time use content or imagery or something that I made. Or I have a license, like I bought a package of music or something that I own, and I could use it in as many videos as I want because I did that initial purchase. It's common for a lot of people to put little quips in from shows or other videos or movies or something to kind of make things funny, but you want to make sure you actually have permission to use that it's, maybe it's Creative Commons, it's old enough you can put it in, but having content in your videos that could violate copyrights could pull your video down, which would be disappointing if you get that's the one that you get all kinds of views and a lot of subscribers from. And repeat offenses can get your channels suspended. So it's something to be careful about and make sure you're not using things you shouldn't. Royalty free, people often confuse that with just meaning free. It doesn't. Royalty free usually means you're buying the license up front. Like I buy a package of music that I could use in my videos, and them being royalty free means every time I use it in a video, I'm not paying them royalties. I already bought it. So you have to be careful of the terms free and how you're going to use that kind of content in your videos. One thing I might also mention with be aware of copyrights is it's good if you have other people appearing in your videos, get them to write something down, write a little permission slip or something so you've got it in writing, or confirmation by email. You never know when someone could turn, or if you have someone in the background that you can see their face and everything, you should try to get them to sign a release. It's just good practice to do that so you're not posting content of other people without their knowledge. All right, is there any that's sort of, I think, yeah.
That
I was
was
going to
fantastic.
it's maybe folks didn't really need to know all that, but I think it's important to kind of know that and sort of understand what the depth of it. Some people might be thinking, I want videos because it'll be fun and be engaging for some people. You might not be thinking, I could monetize off these. I could make my commercials for my business off these. I could use them to, as follow up for my students to send. Like there's lots of different areas we could consider how this could benefit us and our students and our business. The one other thing, did I put this one out of place? I'm not sure if I did or not, but setting the stage, one of the things we can do is make sure we have an area that is kind of private to us to film if we can. Sometimes we don't have that ability, but if you can even set up a net in your backyard, and I do that sometimes, um, and film a video there, it just gives you so much more freedom and privacy to not have people interrupt you. You can do so many takes and make a fool of yourself, or sometimes videos don't work out. It just is nice to have the freedom to film without having to worry about taking up a spot on the driving range, or people chipping balls across your video while you're on a practice screen or something. I realize not everybody has the ability to do that, but if you can, it's a really benefit. You can consider these not just your golf practice area, but you can consider it your sound stage, basically, when your stage for creating videos as well. It's nice to have. That's just a little image of my garage studio there, where I redesigned it for filming. You'll see early videos of mine. It was in a different position, wasn't really conducive to multiple camera angles. So I redesigned it a little bit so I can get camera angles from different positions, and it's a little bit brighter in there now for a little bit nicer setting. And that's the practice green in the backyard, which makes for some nice filming as well. So I'm very, very fortunate to have that. I worked hard on it, but it's nice to have those areas to film. So if you can have a private area or private access, or if you're have any kind of deals with a local driving range or an indoor simulator venue, if you can arrange hours when the public aren't there, that can just be very nice for you, and give you a little bit more confidence and privacy to make your videos as well. Okay, so filming golf videos. Now, filming isn't really the hard part. Editing is the hard part. If you can hold up your phone and snap a picture, you can really do some filming. It's not very difficult. And I find modern smartphones, I said here, make great cameras. My earlier videos, I tried using big JVC cameras and camcorders and everything. Now, even for the high end 4K videos that I film out on the course, I use my iPhone. It is just one of the best resources, one of the best pieces of equipment that I've been able to use. So if you have a good smartphone, I'm sure some of the Android phones, Google phones, these kind of things are probably really good as well. I haven't experimented with those as much, but smartphones are great. They have a lot of lighting adjustments. If I try to use a expensive, fancy movie camera inside my studio, it's very dark, and I have to do a lot of post processing to bring those lights up and make them colorful. Whereas the iPhone, just those adjustments are natural. It's nice and bright. It's nice and clear. So I really recommend using your phone for filming if you have a modern version of an iPhone. Mine is just, what do they have now? iPhone 15 or 14? Mine's a 10, and it works great. So this is several years old, and it's my camera of choice. It's also recommended to use a tripod. Very difficult to, lean your phone up against something to get a golf shot or film a video, or you never know if it's going to fall off or blow around in the wind. A tripod, there's lots of cheap tripods out there, and it just gives you a lot of stability, and you can adjust it different heights for different camera angles, which is nice. So a tripod, I would say, is a must have, and you can get away with just tripod and your phone. And that, I've gone to the course, I've filmed full course vlogs just with that, and also actually a microphone. But you don't need a whole film crew, and you don't need really, really expensive equipment. You can usually use your phone. Sound is very important. When you're using a big camera, kind of like this one over on the right here, you can see I have a little shotgun microphone on top. Those are good for outdoors if you're kind of directing it towards somebody you want to hear all the golf shots and those kind of things. To be honest, I don't really use much of that either. I might as I scale up my filming this summer, we'll see. But I like to use just the lavalier or the lapel mics that you just put on your collar, and they can work really well. I have some that or big box you put on your belt, and you run a wire up in your shirt and clip it on your collar. And I didn't really like those, hot in the summer. I don't necessarily like that cord under my shirt. So I use these wireless microphones you can see a little picture of here. I think that's called the Lark One. I got it on Amazon, and I think it was under $200, maybe $150. I can't exactly remember the price, but I love these things. And I don't have to use a lot of the noise canceling thing. It comes with a little furry cap you can put on it for the wind. And you just have to make sure all the cords are plugged in. Sometimes, if it's not working for you, you might have to turn your phone off and turn it back on because you're using your charging port to plug that in with a little adapter. And they work fantastic. I really love them for outdoors, for inside. I use it for everything, and I've never had a problem with them. And they hold a charge for a really long time. So yeah, it just plugs into your phone, and you clip the thing onto your collar, and you're good to go. Oops. Before you, when you're filming, you also want to check your filming formats. What do you want to record? Like HD? That's sort of the typical 1920 by 1080, or TV kind of resolution. 4K is popular as well. Um, to be honest, when I'm filming indoors, like in my studio there with a golf tip or something, I don't bother with 4K. It's not a big environment. It's pretty small. The camera is pretty close to me. There's not a lot of movement and things. I find just a regular HD. You can see the settings are down here in the right corner of this window. 1080p HD at 30 frames per second. That's fine. That's pretty much the standard. When I'm outdoor filming course vlogs, I really want to capture that landscape and that distant uh, horizon and trees and different things. That's when I'll switch up to 4K at 30 frames per second. Really, it's a lot higher resolution, looks beautiful, looks good on a nice big 4K TV. With YouTube videos, not everybody is watching them on their phone. A lot of people are watching them on their flat screen TV. So you want to have some pretty good quality there. The only thing with filming 4K on your phone is it can eat up space pretty quick. So once you're done filming with your phone and you transfer those files over to your computer for editing or something, you want to delete them off your phone. And that doesn't always delete them. When you press delete to those videos on your phone, they usually go into a recently deleted folder, or there's a recently deleted album. And so you'll like look at the space on your phone will be maxed out. You find this recently deleted album, you select it all, you delete it, and all of a sudden you've got 3/4 of your space back. So that's something that can take some time too. I had to learn. I take two phones out with me on the course because my wife got a new one, so we kept her old one that's the same model as mine, and I often have to use a couple of them out on the course. But I haven't lately. I've gotten better at not letting the video keep rolling when it doesn't need to be, and I focus on just kind of capturing the shots and turn it off. So before you go, you want to check your battery power, also your file space. If you're using a video camera or camcorder, make sure you empty out that SD card before you go. Make sure there's room on your phone. You delete all those unnecessary files and everything before you use it so you don't run out. And I guess I'll go on to the next. Any questions about that? I don't think so, really. I mean, use your phone. It sounds pretty basic, but geez, it's so good. It's so good.
It
I
is. I
actually,
keep checking my phone to see what what my camera's set up to film in and all that sort of thing while you're talking. I'm just looking at my phone saying,
well, there's also when you look at your camera settings, when you go to settings, for those who have an iPhone at least, you go to settings, you scroll down all the settings, you'll find camera down pretty low in the list. You click on camera, and then you'll see the record formats. And um, oh, I lost my train of thought there, but that's where you can find it. But you can even, oh yeah, you can even record in slow mo on most the iPhones. Slow mo at 240 frames per second, I think. So that's a great tool for when you're using it with your learners. If you're filming a swing to put it on that slow motion at that much frame rate, you'll be able to scroll through that video on your phone or on your PC when you put it on there and find all those positions of the club without it being all blurry and everything. So it can help to change those formats. Just remember to change them back if you're doing a lot of recording. It's something you get used to. So another thing we want to consider when we're filming is, or it's good to consider. I won't say you have to. We always can't, bend to nature's will, but we want to consider lighting and the camera angles that we choose. So we'd like to beware of backlighting. So this picture's on me here because the sun is shining on me. It's not too bright. My hat is up a little bit, so it's not casting a lot of shadow down on my face. These are things that help make a video pleasing to watch. If we're out in our yard and we can choose an angle to film ourselves, we'd like the sun coming in. This is also good for photos. If you're taking family photos, have the sun shining on you rather than behind you. It doesn't look good to have backlit. We become silhouettes, it casts shadows across our face and different things. It's really good to use that natural lighting if you can. Now, if you're on a driving range and you have to face one way or the other, I mean, there's only so much you can do. But if you have control over where you're facing, have some light on you. If you're doing an introduction to a video and the light is directly above and you have a hat on, it's casting a shadow down your face, might be good to take your hat off for the introduction of the video, just so people can see you and they can see your eyes and they can talk to you. For indoor use, ambient light and direct lighting is good. So having lights on in the room is good to have, so you're not casting shadows behind you. It's also good to have a light like a ring light or some other soft kind of light shining on you. Generally, from a little bit of a lower direction looks good. Lower direction can help fill in the eye circles a little bit and not cast shadows down. It can take some of the shine away on your head, which I know I have now from these overhead lights. But something like a light that's around the camera height or below it can really help you look pretty good on camera, and it's pleasing to watch for your viewers as well. And if you have a light shining directly on you, that's where your ambient, your room lighting comes in as well. Because if I only have a light shining directly on me, you're going to see a great big shadow behind me, and it's not going to look very good either. So anywhere you can control the lighting, it's good to do that. Creative camera angles is also important. It's good to change the camera angles even during a video. Even if you're only using one phone, you could record part of your video, or if you plan it out and you have different segments of the video that you're going to cover, I would suggest moving the camera for different segments. This keeps your video lively, it keeps it moving, and it keeps it interesting. And viewers are a little bit tricked to keep watching it. If they were, debating whether they're going to jump away from the video, they've seen enough of it. Sometimes it can just seem like it's getting long or long-winded because nothing's changing. You're just staring at the camera, talking for a long time, which I do that too in some of my videos. But if you just change the camera angle, or if you walk up to the camera and talk into it close for a couple of sentences to make a point, and then you're back in the other space, these sort of hard cuts are kind of popular in videos today, and it keeps the video, even a long video, feel like it's moving faster. Viewers are impatient, so we want to do everything we can to keep them watching and keep it interesting for them. So multiple camera angles can also be entertaining as well. Very often I'll like to put a camera really close to the ground by the hole, so I'm putting on it from that angle down below, kind of in a way, or even lower and closer to the hole, just to make it seem a little bit more artistic. I like to choose spots for my camera where there might be a nice, even though it might be like a silhouette, if there's a really nice sunset or a sunrise behind me, if I can capture some of that, it's pretty cool to do that. So be, instead of just throwing a camera up and presenting into it, consider what you're seeing in that camera. Setting the stage is important, as important as the content that you're delivering on there as well. Um, Often, like, because I have multiple cameras, if I'm doing a video in my studio, I'll set up 2 or 3 cameras that will record the whole thing, and I'll just record my video and turn and change my angles all the time. So it's nice to do that. Um, Consider the rule of thirds. Now I'm getting into a little cinematography here a little bit. I don't know if a lot of you know about the rule of thirds. It's kind of a general photography thing, but I just want to show you an example of what the rule of thirds is. And I'm going to use this image. It's from one of my course vlogs to kind of explain what the rule of thirds is. And it's a method of arranging a composition where the elements in the video are, or the elements of interest are positioned within a canvas that's divided into vertical and horizontal thirds. So when we're looking at this, rather than the character or me being right in the middle, or even when I'm recording a video and I'm talking to the camera. Sometimes I'll be in the middle if I'm in my studio, but very often I'll be off to the side a little bit. It sounds weird, but it is more engaging to watch. It feels a little bit more artistic than everything right in the middle. And the way the rule of thirds works is a scene is divided up into thirds, like a tic-tac-toe board. And where people are naturally drawn to areas of interest which are artistic to view are where these lines intersect. So this was a good example because you can see my head is at one of those intersecting lines. The flag is at one of those intersecting lines. Even the club is kind of passing through one of those intersecting lines. This makes it feel like a little bit more of an arranged image or an arranged video than just standing right in the middle of the camera and talking to it or playing right in the middle. You can also see, in a way, the rule of thirds works in bars as well. So this top third is mainly sky and treetops. This middle third is mainly the green, and this bottom third here is the fairway area. So as I say that, you wouldn't notice to look at the image like this. But once I put this on there, you can really see those different sort of variations, even the vertical areas of these thirds. I'm over here on the left side. The action is in the middle where the ball is flying and the club is doing everything. And over on this right side is just sort of nothing. It's just nice, nice background. So I could break this up and find these areas of interest. And it's something to kind of concern or to consider to make your theme feel like it's a little bit more enhanced, I guess you could say. So I didn't want to go all into the elements of cinematography, but I feel like this is a nice one to know, especially if you're making profile pictures or thumbnails for your videos, which I'll get into in a minute. It's nice to present them in a nice structured way like this. And when you're filming, do multiple takes. Um, a practice run can be a good idea, I say here. Like, you might want to run through your video or run through what you're going to say. You know what? Hit the record button because it might be perfect the first time. Or you can also look at that video to make sure, did it record right? How's the lighting? Is the sound working? You want to check early on how the video is turning out so you can make any adjustments before you get too far down the road. And multiple takes, sometimes it just flows a little better the second time than the first time. It can take a while to get into the flow of it, and we can often lose that consistency of the energy we have. So doing multiple takes with different levels of energy might give you a different result when you're editing your video. It might be something that seems really low key, or maybe you did a take that was a little bit more energy and that seems to give a little bit more pep to your video. So taking multiple takes of certain parts of your video is a good way to go about it. And I watch some YouTube channels where someone will film a lesson and they'll film it start to finish. with all the fumbles and different things, which is fine if that's their style. But those are the ones that you can tend to repeat yourself a lot. There can be some long pauses or things. I I like to record it in bursts. And I'm going to tell you, you should plan out your videos. I actually don't. Most of them are just off the cuff. When I'm in the studio, I think of an idea and I start recording it. So I'll record a line. I'll say, "Hey, folks, welcome to Greg's Golf Shack. Here's a," and I'll fumble up. So I'll just wait a second. So I have some editing time and repeat it. "Hey, folks, welcome to Greg's Golf Shack. Today we're going to talk about the body turn." And one of those is going to be good. And when I'm confident I have a good one, I'll continue on with the video, or I'll go over and just stop the camera, start recording again, and move on to the next section. It's a lot easier to edit later if you have a bunch of smaller clips to put together than one great big giant one. You just press the record button and record for a half hour straight. That's going to drain your battery. That's going to take up a lot of space, and it becomes more difficult to find all those elements of editing when you bring it into your computer. So it's good to kind of record different segments. Just know where you're standing. You want there to be a sort of a spatial awareness of where you were. So when you start recording, you're not like moving and popping around all over the place. You're kind of in the center, general area you started. So the power of editing can remove all the parts we don't want in there. So it's worth it to just give it another go once you start talking into the camera or filming. Or if you do a golf swing, if you're just like, you're going to swing like this, don't just do one, do 3 or 4, because my worst golf swings are the ones that are on camera. I don't know what it is, but I'm working on my golf swing and I get it all figured out. Then I film something, I'm talking to the camera for 4 minutes and I hit a golf swing and it all goes wrong. And very often I leave it in there because, hey, it's part of a lesson. I struggle with having a good golf swing on camera. Sometimes I pick a camera angle that just doesn't look quite so bad as I'm working on my swing. But I think we kind of know what that's like. Being on camera as well is a new experience. It takes getting used to. So yeah, you want to check the result early on. You don't want to go a half hour of filming and then look at your video and be like, oh my goodness, the only light that was on was directly above me. I look like I'm reading a horror story, a flashlight above my head or something. So you want to check those kind of things early on, make sure they look good and it's going to work for your video. Um, and also your scaling and positioning. If you record for a long time and then upload your video and you realize your head's cut off the whole thing, you're going to be pretty disappointed. And I've got a couple of videos like that where I swear I was in video, but I'm like, that was a nice chip, and my head is completely off the camera. But it's good to check those things, make sure you're okay if you don't have somebody filming or checking that for you. And yeah, double check the lighting, those kind of things. Another thing to consider if you're out on the course or out on the range and you're filming to demonstrate to people shot shapes and those kind of things, you might use an app or a product called Shot Tracer. And you're probably familiar with this, maybe if you've been watching some YouTube videos or if you watch PGA tours and they show the lines tracing the balls. There's an image here. You can see I'm hitting a drive and there's a shot tracer that's coming out of it. Those are fun to use, and I'll bring it up in a minute. I'll demonstrate how it's used if we have time. And the positioning for the camera you want to consider for that. In this image is where the kind of position you want for a shot tracer angle. So the camera is kind of behind the player a little bit and a little bit off to the side, like out beyond where the ball would be, kind of filming on an angle. So when I'm at setup, you would see my chest and everything as well. It's sort of a mostly down the line, but a little bit face on. And this just allows the camera to pick up the ball without the disturbance of you standing in front of it or anything. And you also would like to have the camera kind of tilted up at the sky a little bit because that's where the ball is going. So the more of the ball you can capture with Shot Tracer, the easier it is. You don't want to just see the Shot Tracer go for a split second up into the screen and then come down later on in the video somewhere. But it's that it works like that too. So you want also, if you're recording with shot tracer, you don't want to hit your shot and walk right across the line either. You don't want to walk in front of the shot tracer. You'd like to hold your position until the ball lands in the fairway or in the rough or in the trees, wherever you hit it, and then move, just because it'll disturb the shot tracer. It could when you're doing it. And that's a piece of software. I'll show you a paid one. So those are the kind of things to consider when you are filming. It's actually not too difficult and just takes some practice to find out what works best for you, some of the camera angles you like to do, the lighting. You'll find a setup if you're teaching lessons at home or in the backyard, a time of day or a kind of angle that will work best for you and you get the best results. So before we get into editing, is there any questions about filming, really? I mean, I could have, I guess, gone deeper into it, but honestly, I think the simpler we keep filming, and some of these ideas aren't too technical. It's just have good lighting, consider the positions you are on camera, and I think that keeps it pretty simple for us.
Greg, do you
Okay.
ever use a GoPro?
Yes, I have. I've got a GoPro. I don't use it very often because GoPros are good to use when you're in a cart. A lot of people will use it and they'll put the cart cam, they call it a cart cam. So when you're driving a cart, I have a suction cup that will stick it to the windshield, and you can talk in the cart and it'll pick you up. Our golf courses are really bumpy and our golf carts are gas powered. So it's not good for picking up a microphone and it's always jiggling all over the place. So, and I walk a lot on the golf course, so I don't use it very much. A GoPro is good for kind of like a wide angle lens. Um, if you're far away, even something like Shot Tracer, it might not be the greatest camera to use. But if you're just filming like a golf swing or something, it could be pretty good. You don't have to have the camera as far away because it does have a wider lens. So you could put it on a tripod pretty close to you and use a GoPro. It's great for a golf swing. Yep. I have an old one too, and it works pretty good. Um, and those just take like SD cards that you can plug into your computer and get the files off of.
Thank you.
So, oh, no problem. Um, so editing, this is when it gets fun. This is when the magic happens, right? I mean, unless we're, holing out from the fairway or something like that, that's when the magic happens on the course or on film. But the real magic happens when we're editing. This is what can make an okay video into a really good video. And we need to use software to edit the videos. Now, some social media platforms like Instagram will have some editors on there. You can edit on your phone a little bit if you need to resize something or add some effects. But if we're really making a good video, we're going to want to do it on our personal computer. And there are several different software. There's tons of software you can use. I can't mention them all. There's so many. And some have a cost. There's some free. Windows used to have one called Windows Movie Maker, and I think there's Canva. I have at the bottom of the list here. Those are free and it's online, but it's not really a multi-track recording software. I'll clear that up in just a minute. But just some that I would recommend, and you might have some that you recommend as well, is Camtasia. So by a company called TechSmith. That one is probably the easiest one that I've used that is pretty high quality. And it's $246 per year, or there's a perpetual license, like a one-time buyout for $410. I use Adobe Premiere Pro. That's like the same company that does Photoshop. And we have a suite because my wife is a digital artist. I use it for work and everything as well. So I'm really proficient with that one. So I end up using that one, but it can be expensive. It's a $30 a month subscription. So paying that on and on and on can be a lot if you're already paying some golf subscriptions and things like that. Um, DaVinci Resolve is where I would say Premiere Pro, Adobe Premiere is the high end. You can make cinema quality videos with that. DaVinci Resolve is very similar, very high end, and it's free. So that's the one I would like to demonstrate to you because it's nice to show you something easy that is, you only have one layer to work with. But if you ever want to step up the content, you're going to need something a little bit better. So I'd rather try and show you a better software that's free that you can evolve and grow with and do some magic with at some point. There is an optional paid version for even more effects and everything. I haven't even had to use it. Because I'm so proficient with Premiere Pro, I downloaded DaVinci Resolve maybe a month ago. I've used it maybe 3 times and made a few videos and was able to adapt to it quickly. And then there's Canva, which is the basic free one I mentioned. It's got some limitations. I was able to figure out how to use that in about an hour, but there's not too much to learn. So just an example, this is what Camtasia looks like. And I chose a timeline, a video I made that had a lot of elements in it. So you can see how complicated you can make it, really, right? But the only thing complicated about this, these are just all the clips I have in here. Audio clips, narration clips, different little video clips that I put in. These two oops, I clicked back. These two little layers at the bottom are all my little video clips. This is just a funny video I made last year. And then I've got some narration that I put in, and then I have just little sound effects and things. So they're all on their separate little channels so I can keep it organized and I can manipulate those individually. And you've got some effects up here. Now, I said this is like the easier one to use that is paid. It is actually relatively easy to use, even though it looks complex here. Once I do a demonstration, you'll see that it's not quite as complex as it looks. I'll try to hurry along here. I know I'm taking a long time. This is what Adobe Premiere looks like. So very similar. You have your multi-track timeline here where you can overlap different videos and you have your different effects and things. So it looks a lot like the other one. This is DaVinci Resolve, the one I'm going to show you. I'm going to do a little example in. And again, it looks very similar to those other two. You probably can't tell the difference between all three of those, really. They look very similar. And then there's Canva Video Editor, which you see it only sort of has one track here. So if I wanted to layer videos on top of each other or put images on top of the video and different things, it can be a little tougher without all those different layers. I think there might be a paid version with multiple layers. I'm not sure, but it's kind of, I haven't really used Canva video editing very much. So do you mind if I demonstrate something? Demonstrate a little video editing?
No, keep going.
Is that okay for you? Okay. So I'm going to open up DaVinci Resolve here, and this is the website for DaVinci Resolve. They make cinema level movies with DaVinci Resolve. And there's a free download right on their website. If you just search for DaVinci Resolve, you'll find it. It's by a company called Black Magic Design, and you don't need to buy it. You can get the free download version. And the thing I like about it is it's open source, meaning the community has a say in some of the features that they'd like to see coming into it. And there's a great big support system. Anytime I've had a question when I'm using this software, because I'm pretty new to it, I use a different one. Anytime I have a question, I go on the internet and I type in the question, I find the answer immediately. So there is a lot of support for that. So, okay, I'm going to make a project here. Let me see. So I opened DaVinci Resolve here. I'm going to say a new project, and I'll call it a test CGTF. Just give it a name. And here we go. And I have a folder on one of my other screens here of some video clips. So let's see here. So I've got some video clips in this file here. I've got them in a folder called raw. I've got some we'll use for a short, and here's just 3 clips from a recent video I did. I have one where I'm kind of talking to the camera. So I'll drag it in here. It's saying, do I want to change the project frame rate to the video that I made on my phone? So I'm going to say yes, change it. So whatever the settings were from the beginning of this whole project, it changed it to my phone settings. So I don't have different frame rates and things. Or if it's 4K, it'll change it to that. If it's HD, it'll change it to that. So I have this video here. I'm going to go to the edit timeline. And just to describe what this is, and again, I'm fairly new to this, but I was able to figure it out. This is your timeline, the section in the bottom. This is the clip that was on my phone, and I just dragged it in here. The line below it here is the audio when I'm talking to the camera. The upper version is the video itself. I've got some effects and things up in this panel. This is just my media, the clips I have in here. But if I click effects up here, I've got all kinds of effects that I can apply to blur it, or video transitions to fade it in and fade it out, audio effects if I need to do anything. I haven't had to use very many of these kind of things, but this is just where some of the effects are that you might apply. Up here in this area here is how I can manipulate this video. So this is at full size. I've got some zooming options so I can make it bigger or smaller. I'm going to reset that. I can move it back and forth if I need to. And you can rotate it. You can do all kinds of different, if I need to crop it from left or right, I can do that. So this is where I can really edit this clip I have selected here. And I can also edit the audio too. So that audio might be too quiet, so I can turn it up here and you can see it gets pretty loud. And I'll come back to audio in just a minute. But basically my clip is in there. And like I said, you want to do multiple takes, so we want to cut things out. So I have a clip I want to get from here about my sand wedge, and I'm going to bring in another clip where I'm hitting the sand wedge on the sim, and I actually captured the simulator screen on my laptop as well, so I want to put that in there as well. So I'm going to have 3 different layers in here. Now, I wonder if you can hear my computer audio if I play this. Can you hear that? Is it playing?
No.
I wonder how I share computer audio, share sound. How we can use the stopping power of a... Yeah, okay. So this is a video I recently did about why you should have clean grooves. And I have a section when I'm talking about the sand wedge. So I want to edit that out. So I'm going to scroll along here, just along the timeline, and see if I can find it. Sometimes we just end up chunking the ball out. Nope, that's me talking about rough. See, this is why it's good to do smaller clips. That ball flies nicely and it actually stops very soon after landing. Okay, that's when I'm talking about the sand wedge. So I'm going to find out where that video clip started. You can see how it's, I can tell by my audio when I started it. And there's a couple things I could do. I could either shrink this whole timeline here. I'm not going to use a lot of these things. I'm just trying to show you the general stuff. So if this is my edit timeline, I could actually drag this all the way to that line where I put it at the beginning of that clip, and then drag this back to the start of the video. That's one way I could do it. Or, and I can make this bigger, you can also cut sections out from this cut menu here. So these are the 2 you use the most, the edit menu and the cut menu. So if I select a spot where I want to cut this video, let's say I'll cut it here. I'll clip these little scissors, And if I want to choose another spot, slide along, and I want to cut out a section, I can clip that again with the scissors. And if I delete that, it slides everything back over, so it's all one nice piece there. So I can cut and clip up my video as needed by using this little cut icon there. And if you just hover over these things at the bottom, it'll tell you cut or edit. So I'm going to delete that next section because all I really wanted was this this clip of me talking about the sand wedge. Oh, wait, where is that clip? I think that's the clip I wanted. So I'm going to cut it there as well. Get rid of that end piece. And there we go. That's all I want. I've got my audio and I've got this. Now I'm going to bring in another clip of me hitting the sand wedge. So here it is. And this is what I mean by multi-layer or multi-track editing, is I can stack clips on top of each other. Or if I wanted to put an image, or if I wanted to put my logo on it or something, I can keep adding tracks to this and pile it on top of each other. So now this is going to show over top of this clip. So let's find where I hit this sand wedge shot. Right there. Okay. So I'll take that and
we'll see a good strike and good contact.
I'm going to stop it right about there. And I'll use my cut tool for that. Cut. And I can get rid of that clip. There we go. So this is going to get a little bit interesting now. Let's just see if I'm talking about that at the right time. I'm going to leave this sound in for that clip just for now.
Full shot. We'll see that with a good strike and good contact, that ball flies nicely and
okay, that's a good spot to actually leave that. So now I've got the clip that I got from my simulator. And I'm going to do something kind of cool here. I'm going to find out the timing. Let me shrink this up so I see more of my timelines. And I can see when the shot, because I recorded the sound in my sim, I can see the little audio track there. So I can kind of line these up to start planning when the hit is going to be about the same. But I might have to adjust it a little bit. So let me just...
with a good strike and good contact, that ball flies.
Why is that not? Oh, no, the strike is way up here. Those are birds chirping. So it's somewhere around here.
See that with a good strike.
Okay, that was pretty good timing there. I just got lucky that it happened right at that moment. But now I've got all these piled up things. That doesn't look very good. So I'm going to do something interesting, and I'm going to reshape this so it looks like it's on my impact screen. So I'm going to find the point where it takes over there, and I'm going to clip it. And just cut it. All right. And actually, I'm not going to do that. First, I'm going to resize it. Let's just see. I'm going to resize this video to go on my impact screen. So I'm going to start with this clip selected of the simulator. I'm going to start shrinking it. And sorry, it's a kind of a process. So that's why I'm stumbling a little bit as I'm doing it. It's complicated. I'm going to move this up now. You can see I can just move it around and kind of shape it to get it as close as I can. Maybe rotate it a little bit. And you can see I can even separate, by declicking that, I can separate the zooms and squish it a bit, because it would look a little squished from this angle. And you can see I'm starting to get it pretty close to looking like it's on the screen. Because if I just had the projector on there, it would look all faded and things. So I like to have a little bit of fun and make it look a little bit nicer. So let me scale it taller a little bit. And, you know, just for the sake of it, I'm just going to leave it like that. And it looks kind of cool. So if I watch the video from there, you'll see it kicks in.
A sand wedge with not even a full shot. We'll see that with a good strike and good contact, that ball flies nicely and it actually stops very soon.
So I have something else I need to do there. And I think it started a little bit late, that shot. So I might move it over very, very little. Let me zoom way in. And scroll back. Oh. And I'm going to move this over one and see if that timing is better.
We'll see that with a good...
Oh, it's still too early. So this is getting a little bit finicky now, but I'm picky.
Shot. We'll see that with a good strike.
Okay, that's good enough. We'll just leave it like that.
That ball...
Now, when it gets to that point where it shows this view, I want to make that full screen, or kind of full screen. So let me find out where I might want to cut back to it.
Actually
full screen all the way to there. So that's about the end of the clip. So you can see it's a long clip, so I'll just use my cut feature to trim it and get rid of the old stuff. And I'm going to make that full screen when it changes into that other camera mode. So right there, let me just zoom in so I can get right down to that keyframe. That's the one right there. So I'm going to cut that video there. And then I'm just going to change these effects to go back to, let's see, what was this? One. And yaw was 0. I'm changing all these effects back to what they were. And okay, I'm just going to zoom it up. Oops. I'm going to link it so it doesn't look squished. Zoom it up to fill the screen. I can move it up a little bit. And let's see what this clip looks like.
And then when we get into using a club like a sand wedge with not even a full shot, we'll see that with a good strike and good contact, that ball flies nicely and it actually stops very soon after landing. There we go. These are the clubs we like to stick the pin with.
So use some multi-track editing, put it together. You can see all I really did was go between these two things. I only went here to cut the clips, and this is where it's all put together in the editing window. And I just adjusted the size and different things up here. It was pretty easy to do, but takes some practice. Now that we've got this, there's some things that you could do to boost it a little bit. So where was my PowerPoint? I wonder if I had something after that. Oh no, I'm opening another software. Darn it. I'm going to have to close this audio software down as soon as it opens. My apologies. Okay, the PowerPoint. There we go. So when we're preparing to export these videos, we want to be able to check our sound levels. We want to make sure those are pretty good and will convey or convert over to YouTube or our other social media nicely. Check some coloring. You know, sometimes we can boost it a little bit and make it look a little nicer. Name your files accordingly. YouTube does consider the name of the file. If you say, this is cool sand wedge shot or something like that, you know, they'll recognize that and it'll come up in some of their search engines. And we also will look at the export settings and even creating a thumbnail. So let me just open up DaVinci again and just demonstrate something like let's say I wanted this to be a little more vibrant. The screen that you're seeing there, the simulator screen. I can go to another one of these tabs down here. There's one that is a color wheel, and I can open that up. Let me see, is that the one? Let me just shrink this down here. There we go. That's what I would like. So if I go to the color wheel, I can adjust some of the settings to this. Now we'll go to this one here. This is where you have some settings and you can do things like boost the saturation, get a little bit greener. This is really nice for outdoor videos when it's a little bit gray or you've lost some of the coloring due to the sunlight or something. You can boost it a little bit. You don't want to go too crazy. Well, I'm going to boost that up to say 64, the saturation. So you have all kinds of little wheels and dials here that you can adjust to start changing the color and make it a little bit brighter and these kind of things. So that looks really nice and vibrant like a simulator. So let's see, the saturation is at 64. That's at 1.34. I'm going to make sure the other clip has those settings as well. 64. And we'll move this up to 1.34. So they're the same. That's just the gain and the saturation. And you can see that already looks a little bit more vibrant and pretty. When you watch it, both those clips will look like that.
And good contact,
looked a little bit
that
gray
ball
before. Now it
nicely,
pops a little
and
bit.
it actually stops very soon after.
So kind of a neat thing to do. What I like to do with the audio as well, I might leave that audio in there. It was fine. I could remove it if I want, just delete it. But I want to make sure these are going to be loud enough for YouTube. So I believe I can create one clip. If all this audio is good, you can see I split it up. If I select both of these, just Control Select so they're both red, and I right click, I get some options here. Very top one is a new compound clip. That'll put them back together. So compound them together, and I'll just call it sound. Create, and now it's one big clip, so I don't have to do the effects twice. So for audio, I want to be looking at the bars over here and make sure they're not redlining. So these other clips, I'm going to turn them down so they're not too obvious. And these as well, turn those down, because it's mainly the one where I'm talking that I want to check if I'm redlining anywhere. And you can see,
we'll see that with a good strike,
just
and
getting
good
into
contact,
that
ball
red area a
flies
little bit.
nicely,
I'd like to get
and
it
actually
up as
stops
close to the
very
top
soon
as
after
possible.
landing. These are the clubs we
mixer
like to stick
as I
the pin
can.
with.
So what I'm going to do is I can start turning up the volume here in this audio setting. I'm going to go to about 15 or so. The approximate ratio of time spent between filming the content and then editing them. I jump right in myself. I film in the garage and I come home and I'm so excited that I start filming them. But I also have a lot of content that I filmed over the summer last year that I haven't even edited. So I could come back and edit it anytime, really. So that's up to you and your control. Okay, that's going to be way too loud. So I'm going to check there.
Using a club like a sand wedge with not even a full shot, we'll
So I'm
see
getting
that with
good
a
levels
good
here
strike
for the volume
and good
now.
contact, that ball flies nicely,
right.
and it.
So that was the highest waveform there. Really, it didn't redline. I could probably turn it up a little bit more, but it seems okay. One thing I like to add with audio effects is a limiter. So I can take this limiter effect, it's over here in the effects panel, drag it on there, and I like to drag this ceiling effect down to just -1, and that's it. What that says is if there's any sort of audio that's going to pop and redline, it'll try to pull it down to avoid it from distorting and going too far above. It's nothing like, listening to a video and all of a sudden you get all these distorted sounds. If it records distorted, it's going to be a little bit tough to get that out. But we can easily distort good sound by just having it too loud in the editor. So at that point, oh, thank you. Thank you, Bob. I want to export this now. So I'm happy with it. It's good. It's a short little video. I can pop into this little rocket ship, this deliver button down at the bottom. So most of our areas are down here at the bottom, deliver. And this is where I export the video. So I'm going to call it sand wedge shot. And location, I'm going to save it in my presentation folder so I don't lose it here. Let's see. And I'll save it there. The format, I like MP4. That's a good video format to use. Your iPhone will probably record it in a .mov file. I like MP4. That's what YouTube likes, but you can choose a different format if you really want. It's saying the resolution is 1920 by 1080. That's HD. I'm happy with that. If your video was 4K, you'll get an option. You could change that to 4K. You could change the option if you want there. I like to keep it what it originally was. 30 frames per second is good. Remember I showed you those phone settings where I like to record inside on the phone with the record settings at HD 1080p at 30 frames per second. So that's where I'm keeping these 1080, 30 frames per second. It's consistent, and I want the quality to be best. That's the easy thing. Some of the other ones are complicated for the settings to export. That's pretty much all I need to do there. And I will add this to the render queue. There we go. It's going to render all, and that video is now processing to be rendered out. And it doesn't take very long because this is a short little video example, but if I find my folder here where I had those, where I exported it, there it is, SW sand wedge shot. I can double click on that.
And then when we get into using a club like a sand wedge with not even a full shot, we'll see that with a good strike,
that's not playing in the editor, that's just playing in a movie
that ball
player
flies nicely, and it actually stops very soon after landing. These are the clubs we like.
So that's how we can do that. Kind of, it's a lot, I know, but kind of interesting. Now, if I wanted to make this video for a short presentation, first thing I might want to do is save a new project file. So save as I'll just save it as this test copy. Because I'm going to do some altering, and I just want to demonstrate quickly with this one because I don't know if I'm going to get to do too much because this is going on a little bit. I'm going to do a compound of this whole video. Just make sure I select it all and create a single compound clip. And now, if I wanted to change this timeline setting to be ideal for Instagram or TikTok or something like that, I'm going to need to change the size. So rather than being 1920 by 1080, I'm going to want it to be 1080 by 1920. So it's kind of odd. So I'm just going to go to the media pool. These are all the clips that I have in this video. And I'm going to find the one that's the timeline. That's this working space here. I'm going to right click on it, go to timelines and timeline settings. And I'm just going to change this. I'm going to deselect use project settings, and I'm going to change the resolution to 1080 by 1920. That's going to do some clipping. We'll see what happens here. If I come back to the video, now we can see it's changed the video. Like, this is a good time when I was standing in the middle of the screen rather than using the rule of thirds because I don't need to adjust that. But let me just make this a little bit bigger. Let's roll along to that next scene. So it's not going to work for that. So when that clicks in, find where that clip is. I like to find the exact keyframe. There we go. So I'm going to snip it there and come back to my edit menu. Let me see, where's my, there we go. And I'm going to want to move this a little bit. So I'm going to come over to my video settings, and just like I did with that screen, I'm going to move it over where I'm hitting the shot. Uh-oh, this might not work. I think it cut away the rest of that file. Darn it. Normally I do this in my other software. Ah, Greg. So this might not work the way I wanted it to here. So we're going to try something else. Sorry, folks, but I wanted to show you the shot tracer quickly as well. So I'm going to try a new project here. And import a different video. So I'll drag it. Oh, that's the Canva one. Where's my other folder? I think I closed it. Presentation. Here we are. Oh, it's hot in here. I'm sweating. Sorry. So if I wanted to bring in something to do a shot tracer, I'll demonstrate it really quickly here. So I've got lots of video here that I don't need. So I'm going to get rid of all the excess stuff and keep it right about there and cut it off when I walk away. So just shrink that down. And there's my video of a par 3 shot that I'd like to add a shot tracer to. So with this, I think I'd like to export just this little section here. So I'm going to export this out from our delivery, and I'll just call it shot trace par 3.
Greg, sorry to butt in.
Yeah.
The screen picture in screen, it's almost impossible to follow. It's so small.
Let me adjust that. Hold on a second. It makes it small when you're delivering, but that better?
No, the whole thing, like the whole screen is you, and then the picture is about 1 inch by 2 inch on our screens.
Oh, is it?
Mine's not.
Oh, okay. Well,
might just
mine
be.
is.
Mine's not either. FYI.
Okay, I got it now. Sorry.
Okay.
Carry on.
So, okay, so I'm going to export this out to my location. Yeah, it's tough to jumble around with all these different files and software open. Sorry. And I'll just save it out there. And now I'm going to open up Shot Tracer. Shot Tracer can be a little funky. I've been getting this choppy little thing lately, so I might have to restart it once it starts, but it's opening on another screen here. Shot Tracer is a fun thing, and most of the time it does a lot of the work for you. So that's why I wanted to have fun and demonstrate it for you. But I am aware, I mean, it's getting to be 10:30 our time, so I might have to cut this a little bit short. But I'm going to pull Shot Tracer in here, and I'm going to import a video. So let me find the video that I'd like to show you. Where did I just export that to? I'm not sure where I exported that video to. Add to render queue, render all. I think that's why. I didn't actually render it out. So now when I go to Shot Tracer, I should be able to find it. So import video, and let's see if I can find it here. Shot trace par 3, I'm gonna open it. And this is my library where videos will be imported, and you can see it's trying to calculate the shot tracer all by itself. And sometimes it works great. Boom. So I'll click on that and it shows me the shot tracer that it calculated. If I play it, hopefully it runs smoothly. Sometimes it's choppy. Oh, good, it's smooth. And there we go. It added the shot tracer. Now I might need to change. I know that landed in front of the green, so I can move that line a little bit there to the front of the green, and that's where my shot landed. It's pretty cool because I can change the colors if I want. I can go into the red colors and make it a red shot tracer if I like, and I can change the color of the what it's going to land. Maybe it's going to be blue when it's landing. I'm just having fun. It's going to look weird, but you can see it's changing the colors. And I'll often do this. This is some of the theme and presentation I like to do with my videos, that if I'm wearing a shirt that is purple, I like to try and make my shot tracers purple. And I like to make my thumbnail have some purple text. I like to make it consistent and kind of work together. So I'm wearing black here. Hey, I could make a black shot tracer if I want. It's not going to look great, but you can do it with a little bit of purple there. So there we've got a black shot tracer. That's what happens to me lately. It's getting skippy and I have to restart it. But the shot tracer worked. Has that been doing that to you, Paul, as well? That little, I know Paul's been using it a little bit too. So
Yeah, it's a little bit jumpy.
okay. Often I have to like restart the software and that happens. It could be because I have DaVinci open, all kinds of different software open, but you can see how that shot trace worked. I'm actually just going to restart it quick so it'll remember everything I had so it looks a little smooth, because I want to demonstrate how you can add the shot tracer in yourself if you need to. There's a custom way to do it. Now, Shot Tracer is a paid subscription. This is the website here, just called Shot Tracer app. And when you scroll down, you can find what their payment plan is. So you could just get it for a month. You could get it for a year. I think these are American prices. You could get it for a half year if you're only golfing and making videos for half a year. So these are subscriptions for a certain amount of time, but I find it worth it. I use it in all my course vlogs and it's pretty cool. And you can just look up Shot Tracer app. They have one you can put on your phone too for pretty cheap. It might be $7 or $8 or something, but it's really difficult to actually do this kind of fine tuning work with it. So it's tough. So now that I've got this back in here and we're playing, it works fine. We got a black color and everything. Okay, pretty cool. If that didn't work, sometimes you'll load it and it won't recognize the shot, or it'll be shooting off in the sky somewhere. You know you didn't hit it. You might have to do it manually. And you can do that by just saying edit trajectory up here in the settings. There's not too many settings in here. And you can choose every little keyframe along the ball flight if you can see the ball, or you can use this little line molding, which I like to use. So I'm going to use line molding. And I need to set an impact frame. So you skip back and forth to the frames. I'm going to say this is the impact frame here, because there's not enough frames to actually get that. And you can see it automatically sort of adds this in. And as I skip through these frames, I can try and follow the ball. So the ball's up here now and it's looking pretty good so far, but I can see it starts to dip down there. I know the ending point is somewhere over here. It might go a little higher. You can only move these 4 little balls around to try and follow that ball. And it's looking actually like I'm getting it pretty good. Oh, this keeps popping up for me. So stretch it out a little bit. It was more of a fade than I wanted. And there we go. And I could zoom in if I need to. I think if I'm, where's that zoom button? I just zoom in like this with my mouse, and I could find where the ball is, and it's following that line pretty good. It's right here right now. You can't even see it because my line is right on it. So that worked pretty good. And I built my own line. So now you might need to change the flight time and things, how long it's in the air. Let's just see how it looks. I'm going to create that line and we'll play it. And it's a tiny bit off, but it looks pretty good. And the duration of that flight is pretty good too. Again, it landed at the front of the green, so I'm going to adjust that, and there we go. And now I can export this, find the location where I want to put it. I should have had a better folder system here. And I'm going to put it right in this folder. And that's going to export out. I think this is actually a 4K video. So this is when I might put it back in my editor and use the colors to kind of brighten this up a bit and upload it to Instagram or something like that. So it's taking a minute there. I'm going to slide it. Oh, I can't slide it aside. But are you enjoying some of that so far? Like kind of cool stuff?
Awesome.
I didn't know if I could upload. I mean, I think we've covered quite a bit here. I was hoping I could demonstrate how to upload onto Instagram and TikTok and everything. This has gone on for a while. I don't want to keep everybody late. That could be something we cover again a little bit later, or maybe I can make a video for the group or something. It's pretty self-explanatory, and there's a whole other tool set of editing tools and effects in there when you get there. So it might be a little bit too much for this evening, but it's kind of cool because I can just bring that clip that I just made, if I can find it here. So there's the clip with the shot tracer. I'm just going to bring it in here. I can replace right over top of this old one I had, and now the shot tracer is here in my editing video. And this is where I can do things like, let me get that grass a little bit greener. If I can make that bigger, I'm not sure. Make the grass a little greener, turn up the gain, brighten it up a little bit. You can see I'm making it a little brighter, making it a little nicer. It looked a little dull before, and that looks a little bit better just by adjusting some of the colors a little bit. And I've got a cool little shot tracer shot. Kind of neat. And I wonder if I can actually change the timeline now size. For some reason, this was clipping out the video before 1080 by 1920. I'm going to see if it keeps it there and see if I can adjust this video. Yeah, it's not cutting it. So one other little thing I was going to kind of demonstrate just really quick was how you can animate with these as well. So if I just play it with me in the view here, you're not going to see where the ball ends up on the green. So when I had these options over here with position and zoom and everything, this is back in DaVinci Resolve, I can actually put keyframes in to move it around. So I'm just going to click this little diamond here, which adds a keyframe. I'm going to scroll over till I hit the shot right about there. And I'm going to add another keyframe. Now let's see here. You can actually open up these keyframes to see them. If I drag it down. And now if I move my camera over a little bit and I move this position, oh, not that one. I'm going to move this one over to about there. And now when I play this video, it'll move. Those are the positions of the camera. It'll move it for me. I thinned it a bit, but that is going to be just fine. Like that. So kind of cool. And I could like just put it back to me if I want, but you can animate all different kinds of things there if you want. I could animate it back to where I am. And this is the kind of fun stuff you can get creative with animating as well in here inside the video editor. And you could see animating was just a matter of clicking that little diamond, and I can move these around. If I thought that was too slow, I could move it over here and speed it up and even adjust the where I want the camera just by moving that little keyframe. Now it moves a lot faster. Zoop, there we go.
A bit, but that is
so kind of a cool tool to use there. And again, I can just export this like I did the previously export it. If I bring this up here, so that was preparing for export. I guess the thing I would say is thumbnails. You want to have a good thumbnail for your video as well. Make it eye-catching, have a good text in there. You don't want it too convoluted with a lot of words and different kinds of things. Making something like that is really easy in Canva. It's free. I could do it as well in the video editor, but it could take a little longer. And I want to do this really quick. So just search Canva and you can sign. It's an online design, so you can usually sign in with your Google account. I'm going to create a design, and I'm just going to make it, let me see. How do you do custom size? How do you do a regular design here? I think I was just going to do like a presentation, maybe, because it's just one frame anyway. And I can just bring in images. So I've got a little folder of images here. I was going to get into green screening and stuff, but that might have to take a little bit more time next time. So if I drag a background image in here, there we go. I've got a nice background. We can pop it in there. I actually had a green screen image of me. It's just, it will take too long to go into right now, but I can pull it in. Let me see, where did I have that one? Where's my Canva folder? So I had a green screen of me and I used a tool in Adobe Resolve to get rid of that. And it turned out just being a picture of me here that I could pull in. And no, that's not the green screen one. Is this it? Nope, that's not it. Okay, I guess I can't remember where I stored that. But just for now, I'm just going to put some text in here. And they have some pretty cool things in here. Let me see. If I close this, if I go to design and text. So I want to add some text in, and I'm just going to say glow is kind of cool. I'll bring that in and change the text. I'll call it cool. And I can change the color I want of that to something that's a little bit more cool, like ice. Let me select the text here, change that color. And oh, that's the background. I don't want to move that. I can resize this text if I want and rotate it a little bit and add another text in here. We'll say cool golf shots. Well, let me get rid of all the other stuff that was in there. Ooh, I don't like that one so much, that text. We'll get rid of sail. What was that? Golf shots. So I'm just using the template that they have here, and I can make this a lot smaller if I like. So cool golf shots. I want cool to go on top, so I'll right click and I'll bring it forward so it's over top of that. And you know, that might not be the best text to use, but you have lots of different options that you can use to pop them in here for a good thumbnail. You can put a picture of yourself in there. You do have a green screen one, like I did have there somewhere. I just don't know where I saved it. You can have an image of yourself. And once you have this stuff in there, this could be a clip from your video, really easy to add this text and things. And then you just go to the share button and you download as a JPEG. Photoshop likes JPEGs, and those are smaller file sizes. So I can save this out as a JPEG, download, and it'll go into your download folder on your computer. Go to downloads, and there's my cool image there. And if I want to upload all this onto YouTube, I think I have a YouTube. Get out of my way, bar. Once you have a YouTube account, you can just click this little create, upload a video, and this screen comes up. I should be able to upload that video that we made. The shot trace par 3. Is that the one we made? I think so. So I could drag that video in there. And I'm not actually going to publish this, but it's uploading the video in the background, and this is where I can give it a good title, cool par 3 golf shot. Your names of your videos matter. They'll come up in search engines and different things as well. Same with the file name. You've got a description where you can type in some stuff about the shot, things that you like. Those will come up in searches as well. I advise you to add your social channels in your description. Hashtags go a long way. Those are what can attract attention. So hashtags like golf, golfer, I might want to put a hashtag for par 3. Things relevant to your video will attract attention. Then I can upload my thumbnail. So I would have to find that thumbnail that I just made. I think it's in the downloads folder still. So there it is. I'm going to open that. And there's my cool golf shots thumbnail. This is where you can come down. You can make playlists or add them. So if I wanted to make a playlist, I'm going to have a whole lot of videos that I want that are called cool golf shots. I can just make a playlist and add it to that playlist. So if people are interested in a certain brand of video you're making, a certain type, they can follow a playlist. I like to say, no, it's not made for kids just to be safe, because I'm not doing anything in there. Kids can still watch it, but it's not specifically for kids. They'll look a little closer to make sure everything is appropriate. I don't contain paid promotion there or anything. Automatic places, I don't need that. Automatic concepts, sure. If it finds things in my description, my video that might attract more attention, great. There's some tags here as well you can add that might be relevant to your video and golf. English is good. Recording date, I'll say today. Location, I'll say St. John's, NL. That's where I am. And I'm usually fine with how the comments and everything are by default. So I go to next. I'm not going to monetize on this one just because I'm not even going to post it actually. So off. There we go. Done. And I think this video is too short to add an end screen, but usually an end screen can give you an option to add a link to your channel to subscribe, as well as an advertisement to one of your other videos. You just click on that and you choose a range at the end of your video. Cards are a way, if you mention in your video, oh, I also have a video I did on golf balls. You might want to watch that one and continue with your video. You can actually add a little card there, find a video from your channel. So ball, and I've got a video about golf balls, and I can add this little card somewhere in my video where it might be relevant. During that video, this little thing will pop up so people could be linked to another video that you have. So that's what a card is. So I could save that in there. End screen is a similar thing, but it goes to the end of your screen. It'll actually show an image of your video and an image of your profile picture. You can go to next, everything checks out. It's all good to go, and you're ready to publish it. So I'll publish this privately just so I can show you another little thing. So I'll save that. Although it's taking a long time to process, so I don't know if I'll be able to edit it further. But one other thing you can do when you have these in here is you can use the YouTube sound library. So there's some effects there. You can trim it and cut it, add some blur, but I like to add some music. So I could search for genres like uh, genre hip hop. Why not? Apply. I can listen to some of these video songs, see if there's something I like. Play it. Oh, it's not letting me play that. Sorry. Cool. So I'll add it in there, and it adds music to that video, and I can adjust the levels that I want, how much music, how much sound of my original video. If I go all the way down here, it's all my original video. If I go all the way up there, it's all just music. So I'll go somewhere around here. I don't think there is anything sound in my video, and I can watch that. Now I've got music in my video as well. So you want to be cautious when you're adding background to music or videos where you're speaking, because it's going to overwhelm your voice. So you really want to crank that audio way down there. And you can even adjust this audio a little bit. I can crank it over, maybe find the point where I hit the golf ball, let the music kick in at that point. I'll drag this over. And now if I watch it from the beginning, so it's kind of cool how the music kick in when you hit the shot. And that's it. Then I can save that, and it's good to go. It's on YouTube and ready to go. It's published there with music and all kinds of cool stuff. So my goodness, folks, that was a lot to cover. And I'm sorry I went so long and fumbled a little bit. It's always tough when you're doing this stuff on the fly and demonstrating. And I hope I didn't make it look more complicated than it is, but I hope I also made it look easier than how complex it can be. So I hope you enjoyed that.
Well, I think it was awesome. I have one quick question, but might not be a quick question.
Okay.
On YouTube, you can watch, certain channels will have almost like a chapter, and it'll be like introduction, and you can fast forward almost and just cruise up to the part you're interested in.
Yep.
How hard is that? Is that really hard, or?
Not really. I haven't done it too much in here, but you can add chapters I think there's an upload option to edit in chapters. I haven't really done it.
Greg,
Yeah.
all you have to do in your description is just type in the time.
Okay.
So if you have something at a minute 10 that leaves, you're talking about balls and then you go to clubs, you just in your description type 1:10 and it will show up on the bottom. Is that what you're talking about? Like a timeline?
I think that's what he's talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really easy. That's just in your descriptions.
Oh, okay. You just type it in like that and say,
Yeah, and just type them in underneath each other, like in a column.
tee shot. I don't know what the times actually are.
Exactly. Yep.
And 0, 1, 0, hit green. But yeah, if these are specific items you're talking about or something, and that will show up in the video if you do that.
It'll show up right across the bottom.
Excellent. Cool. So I'll save that. And if I watch that video, let's go to video and watch it. I'm not sure. It's a pretty short video, so I'm not sure if it'll show it for me. This one didn't really show the time because it's probably so short. Probably has to be a certain length to have chapters. But that's something I could email you about after I experiment with it a little bit more too.
That's a good thing for me to search around too and look at.
Yeah, I've seen because I haven't ever really used it, but I have seen it during the uploads section, and I just haven't used it. So I apologize that I can't really answer that.
Oh, I think you're awesome tonight. It really opened my eyes up. I've only ever edited my video content just in iMovie on a Mac, you know.
Well, it's fun. You can, but now you can see there's a lot more things you can kind of do with some of these tools, even things like green screening and stuff if you want to do that. It's an option as well. I like the multi-track editing because it just gives you multiple layers. When I'm doing a course vlog, I like to do an impression of where the flag is and show a scoreboard and bring all these different kinds of things up. So I like DaVinci Resolve because they can do cinema quality videos with it, and it's accessible to us, that high-end software, for free. That's what I like. There's a lot of other free software out there that is fairly basic, and it might work for you. It might work really well. Um, but it's hard to push the envelope when you really start rolling, and then you have to learn something new all over again. So if you can find a way to make a software like DaVinci Resolve be familiar and easy because you use it for certain things, you might only use a limited set of tools, but you're ready to move forward when the time comes.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you, guy, so much, Greg, for putting a lot into it too. And I know you're trying to make it look easy, but it definitely doesn't look too easy.
Oh, things are this is my day job, eh? When I'm teaching game design, every time you're showing things like this online, your software will crash and all different kinds of stuff, right? That's just the nature of it, and we just got to get used to it. But it's the fun that keeps us going. I mean, it's fun to do this stuff. It can be aggravating and frustrating sometimes. Sometimes you'll lose content. Back up your content, back up your files. Do that for sure because you'll lose it. And like I said, when you record on your phone, once you've published a video like this and made it, delete all those files off your phone and from the recently deleted folder, or else you'll go out there and you'll have a red line on your phone for how much space you've used.
Perfect.
Mark, one thing before I leave anyway, I've got a program somewhat like what Greg is using. Mine's called Power Director. It's very similar. It's a professional editing thing. This all seems so overwhelming when you start. And what I did, and I'm sure what everyone else can do, is you use the very basics of the program and you get comfortable with it. And then you add another little tiny aspect to it as you use it. You get comfortable with it. And within a couple of months, I was zipping back and forth, compiling videos on the fly while I'm eating toast at breakfast and stuff. And it just seems so daunting when you're starting. It's overwhelming that you look at it and you think, all right, I'm never going to get this. And then it just happens. Nobody goes into these programs using all the aspects of it.
Right.
It would drive you crazy.
It is, and it's if you're in your backyard with a net and you're just giving talking about a certain kind of strike pattern or something, or a swing thought or something, it's not so bad. You don't have to worry about layering video upon video and all these kind of things. But it's nice to be able to experiment further. But I do recommend at least get a couple of different camera angles, even if it's from the same camera. Just move it around. It keeps things a little bit spicy. But yeah, it does become a lot more routine as you get familiar with it. The first video you make might take you a long time. Second video will take you half the amount of time. The third video is going to take you a lot less time. And the second video might be your first one again because you screwed it up. So it goes faster and faster as you get more comfortable. I make course vlogs that are about, sometimes a half hour, a full 18 holes of dialogue and shot tracers and all kinds of stuff. And I can usually pump those out in a couple of hours. So it's, now I can. Originally, when I started doing it and I was trying to figure out my style and everything, that's what takes a lot of the time too, is figuring out how you want to be portrayed, what style you have, what kind of character you have, the titles, what kind of text you want to use, and all these kind of things, right? So it's fun. And I know it's a lot, but so you folks can always reach out to me again. I like DaVinci Resolve because if you have a question and you just look up that question on the internet, somebody's made a video to show you exactly how to do what you're asking. There's videos all over the place on everything. I've had no problem finding any no matter how obscure, finding any kind of help by just a quick search. It's usually the first thing on the internet that comes up. So it's pretty good that way.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for even bringing that. You could have done it all in your Photoshop and said, "Well, you guys got to buy this," and to take the time to get a free software up there. That was brilliant, and we're grateful that you would go over and above learning how to use a new software. So that's Greg, you blew it out of the water, and I'm sure lots of people are going to watch this video on YouTube and say, "Geez, Mark doesn't edit them very well." But at least I'm going to start putting a proper thumbnail on the start of these continuing educations sessions, and they're too long to do too much more with it. If people want to watch them, they can watch the whole thing unedited.
Well, the continuing education, all the little bits and pieces are what we're learning from, right? So I tried to keep it streamlined or at least not fumble around too much. It's kind of difficult, but there's something in there for everybody to pick something up, I hope, anyway.
Oh, it was great. It was great. I was looking forward to it, and you delivered, I think, 100%. And it's good for our organization to see what professional talents we have within our own organization. So it was good to have you on here. And I know it's getting 11 o'clock at your time. So
yeah, we got a lot of snow to get ready for tomorrow.
There's some snow coming east, is there?
Yeah, we got a nor'easter coming up. Yeah, for tomorrow night. Yeah, you'll be getting it, Greg. You'll be getting it. We'll leave some for you.
Yeah, I'm headed to Montreal for the weekend for a little kid hockey tournament. So it seems like Montreal, every time I go there, is a disaster with snow. Not because the roads are great to drive when there's no snow, but yeah.
Well, all right,
thanks.
Good night for me.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thank you guys so much for supporting. And Greg, thanks so much for a wonderful job. It was a great evening.
Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate everybody's attention and putting up with all of that.
No,
thanks.
It was fun. Well done. Well done. Thank you.
Take care.
I can't wait for the next one. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. The next one. I'll just take a couple seconds. We've got a couple of things coming out. Motion to Coach. You guys who haven't heard of that, you'll be blown away what Motion to Coach app is all about. It's a game-changing app that does everything in the world that you could ever imagine using capturing from AI and some 20-year-old kids that's smarter than everyone in the room kind of thing. He was an amazing guy. So the owner, Bennett, is coming on from Germany, and we've got it booked for March the 18th. So that's the next plan. We have our LPGA and CGTF member, Semi Mara. She's going to be doing some brain game stuff that if anybody has any kids, we should get the kids involved because she's going to do some brain training. What's found in Asia to be working with getting kids to use more than the North American senses. So that's going to be fascinating. And again, she played on the LPGA tour, and she's been she's the number one lady Indian golfer of all time. Which I don't know if you know this, but I assume everybody knows India's got a lot of people. So if she's the number one from India, then and she's truly the best lady golfer ever, most successful. Played on the LPGA tour, got certified with the CGTF back in I think 2016. Come over to Canada to get certified. So she's going to log in from India, and she's going to show us something really, really mind-boggling. So yeah, we got a couple of really good sessions before golf season starts. So I'll keep you posted on that.